this is such a treat. I mean, a lot of you know me and you came anyway. Thank you. It's so fun. I'm hoping today that I can reach out to each one of you with something you hadn't heard before that's new that you can use, have a laugh, have some fun, have some ideas, go home with things that you can actually put to work in your life. That's always my goal. And we'll have some fun along the way. I'm going to use this mic when I'm at the podium. I love to walk around, and so when I'm away from the podium, I will talk as loud as possible, but we were unable to find a walk mic this morning. So I will see how well my voice carries, and if you have trouble hearing, wave at me. But I think I'm loud enough, right, hubby?
Yes.
Okay. So those of you who know me, raise your hand if I'm loud enough. Okay, not the whole room. You don't even know me, ma'am. You know, okay. But anyway, Marcy, thank you. That was really lovely. That was such a pretty song. And yesterday, it got me thinking about one of the words I love. And many of you know I came out of a background in teaching, as so many of us did, and I love, love, love words, which is why you have this sheet of paper in front of you with a bunch of stuff that it looks like I made it up, but I really didn't. It's really for real. But I thought of a word that I love, which is at the top, which is pentimento. Any of you familiar with that word? Pentimento. It's at the very top of your list. Oh gosh, here I go away, but I'll talk loud enough. Can you hear me? All right? Yeah. Okay. Pentimento is the name of one of 3 autobiographies Lillian Hellman wrote. Apparently she thought we needed 3 autobiographies. One was not enough, but one of her autobiographies was called Pentimento. Truthfully, I don't remember much of anything she wrote in it except what pentimento means. And pentimento is one of those words like aloha or shalom that has an embracing meaning of more than one thing. And pentimento is a process by which a starving artist in Paris would have a portrait of a child. Nobody bought it. A month later, he needs to pay the bills. So he paints over the whole thing with white paint, waits for it to dry, and then puts a landscape on top of it, which you can maybe sell, which is lovely for a year or 2 until the person who bought the landscape starts to see something fading ever so faintly back through their picture, fading forward of what has been that you thought was gone. Pentimento. Isn't that a great word? And I think wellness, health, life is a lot like pentimento. I will tell you that we all have pentimento in our lives. There is stuff on our canvas before we could walk or talk. But I will also tell you, you have the brushes and the paints and the ability to put something you like better on the canvas, but you have to keep painting. Because once it starts to fade through, you have to deal with it again. If you want it to stay back, continue to put the fresh colors on of something you like better. So that's pentimento. And I think it fits so well today. So Marcy, thank you for that inspiration. You gave me the idea from yesterday. A lot of things in our lives are natural that aren't good. People say, is natural always good? No, there are things on your lawn that are natural you would not put on a dinner plate. But there are some natural things that are amazing. Think about this. There's a plant that loves you, and you hate it. You pour asphalt and tar on it. You pour poison on it. You stab it and dig it out with a spade. And the next year, it comes back and it says, here I am, I'm lovely. And it's bright yellow. It says, I'm back, look at me. And you go, no, we hate it, it loves us. What am I talking about? Of course, on your tables, you'll see dandelion tea. I have one for each of you to take home. And there are more on the table if you came in extra. And there are more up here on the table. You can grab one to take home with you. Dandelion is one of the most extraordinary herbs on the planet. And it's free. Now, I would not suggest you all go out and strip it off your lawn if you have lawn sprays and so on and so forth. But the truth is that all of our pharmaceuticals come from plants. They're botanicals. They come from natural plants. And dandelions are one of those things. So dandelion tea is something that says detox on it. It will help you to fight negative bacteria and welcome the good ones. It also reduces the power of viruses. 10 years ago, when I saw patients in my office, they all asked for the same thing. Do you know what it was? Not antibiotics, because I can't prescribe, but that's a good guess for a doctor. But I need to lose 10 pounds. How do I do it? Just help me lose. I've tried everything. I need to lose that. That's not the first thing I hear anymore. The first thing I hear now is, how do I protect myself? How do I stay well? How do I keep my family well? What should I be doing? What should I not be doing? My immune system, I don't want to get sick, and I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. It keeps going around in circles. So that's what I want to talk about today. We have the paintbrushes, we have the colors, and you see the colors lined up right here of God's own pharmacy. We have all the answers, really, that we need. We don't have them all at the same time, and not everyone is available to everybody, but they're all out there. So talking about immunity, talking about how to stay well, we have two parts to immunity. One is called your innate immunity. You're born with it. Babies have immunity from mom. But then there is adaptive immunity. And adaptive immunity means, oh, I have the ability to change something. And if you do, why not? So when you start out with adaptive immunity, you think, are there things I should be doing and should not be doing? And the answer is absolutely, because our immune system does lower, like so many other things, including people's height with age, but we can rebuild it. We can build it back up. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. Right? And it really is so much truth in that. And again, all of our pharmaceuticals come from plants. So today we're all going to work together, learn what these words mean, and get really, really smart together. And by the time you leave, I hope you'll have something that you can use that's applicable to you. Next word down your list is anthocyanins. What? Anthocyanins. You know what they are? They're basically potential pharmaceuticals, but they haven't made them into that yet. They're still in the plant. Stuff you could pull out of a plant and use like medicine. And it heals, and it makes you better. It can fight cancer cells, can improve heart health, improve mental acuity and clear thinking, keep your weight and your metabolism healthy, reduce inflammation, reduce type 2 diabetes, which so many people fight these days. But here's the best thing about anthocyanins. Anthocyanins literally double the number of immune cells in your bloodstream in your body. Woo! That's awesome. It doubles the number of immune cells in your blood, in your body. So where do you get anthocyanins? Well, anything that would put a really nasty stain on your best tablecloth, that has anthocyanins. In the middle of your table, you have a little bowl that has dark cherries and super dark grapes, both of which are organic and washed, by the way. Help yourselves. Those things are full of anthocyanins. If you mash that into a tablecloth, it would make a horrible mess that you'd have a hard time getting out. That's how you know it's an anthocyanin. Blueberries, blackberries, beets, things that put stains in, and especially blue and purple stuff. But there's one in particular that you may have heard about in the story, sambuca. Have you ever seen sambuca? Have you ever heard that? You have? Do you know what sambuca is? Elderberries. That's it. It's elderberries. It's elderberries. This is elderberry syrup. It's wonderful. I'm putting it out on the table with some little cups, so when we're finished, if you'd like to try it, there are little cups, pour a little bit and try it. It's intense. It is absolutely intense. Look at the color of this stuff. I mean, really? That's sambuca. That's elderberry syrup. It is so intense. Even a little bit, 1 teaspoon a day. If someone's ill, taking a couple of teaspoons a day can really help them. So anthocyanins are in red and purple and blue things and black things as well. But they're also in some of the simple things that we think about, like an apple. Anthocyanins. Now, if the most of it is in the red, purple, or blue part, where would most of the anthocyanins be in this? Exactly, in the peel. So as appealing as it may be, you want to eat the whole apple because that's where your anthocyanins are. It also has fiber and other good things, but that's where the anthocyanins are. By the way, this is an organic apple. We'll be talking about that a little later, but there's a reason for that. And most of the things you see up here, if not all, in fact, are organic, and I want to talk about that in a bit because it is confusing for people. Do you wash fruits and vegetables? Yes. Do you wash your hands before you wash them? I do. It's a good idea. Because otherwise, if your hands are dirty and you wash a carrot, the poor carrot got what was on your hands and went, no! no, now you've contaminated the carrot. You don't want to do that. Now, this is, I do not own stock in Trader Joe, I don't think, unless our mutual fund has it. But Trader Joe has a product that I love. It's just fruit and vegetable wash. Very simple, 1-2 drops, scrub things on it. It'll take off waxiness, it'll take off loose things. If someone was in the grocery store and sneezed on your organic carrots, it'll take it off. So why not, okay? And having a wash is a good idea. So talking about colors, red or yellow onions, which are better for you?
Red. Both of them.
Both of them is probably the best answer because the red one has anthocyanins in it, but the yellow one also has something amazing in it, which is healthy for you as well. And that's what we're going to move along to in just a minute here. Before we do, the grapes and the cherries in the bowl on the table are definitely for you to enjoy and to eat. So please help yourselves and eat those. They're all washed. Another word on here, resveratrol. Resveratrol is also extremely healthy for your body. If you were a swing set, resveratrol would be Rust-Oleum.
Oh.
I will not wear out as soon as I would have without my Rust-Oleum. Eventually the swing set will come down, but it's going to last a lot longer without damage. So it's protecting your cells. It is an antioxidant. Now, what is oxidation synonymous with?
Not a good thing.
Rust. If something oxidizes, it rusts. Or if an apple, you cut an apple and you leave it on the counter overnight, it turns brown, that's oxidizing. It's oxidizing, it's rusting out. My grandma, now you've all heard me talk about my Grandma Cassie. She also made me look very tall. She would have made you look tall. So my Grandma Cassie, Ozark Mountain foothills, she used to say, now let me tell you what, Deanna, before every sentence. It was like 2 minutes later, now let me tell you what, and we'd start right there again. She said so many wonderful things. One of these days I'm going to write a book about my Grandma Cassie because I thought she was so simply perfect as a grandma and so cute. Now I've realized all the things I thought were cute were really wise and brilliant. And she had so many expressions that she used, but among those, she would say, well, now, if you don't have to feed it, it isn't near as important as you think it is. And you think about that, it's true. It's what I do. And she used to also, the reason I thought of her today, and she always comes to my programs, Grandma's always with me, and Al knows I talk about Grandma every day. She used to say, well, I don't know, I may wear out, but I won't rust out, because she never stopped moving. So if you want to prevent rusting out of your cells and protect your cells, then the answer is what word? Resveratrol. Now it's also extremely helpful for your heart. Very, very good for the heart. And a lot of red things. I mean, think of something that the juice from it is dark, dark red. Beets. Really good for your heart. Grapes, yes, and cherries, and anything dark red, and the red onion as well. But resveratrol is natural in plants. Here's how resveratrol forms. This is cool. When a plant is challenged by bugs or weather or whatever, it makes its own resveratrol. In other words, it sprays itself with Rust-Oleum. And when you eat that plant from the inside out, it does the same for you. Every new cell being built will have the personal Rust-Oleum on it, which is a very good thing. Resveratrol also helps with sleep, with blood pressure, with blood sugar. It helps to restore your energy a little better. If you have more resveratrol in your system, sometimes even after a full night's sleep, you get up the next morning and you just don't feel rested. It can help to lift the bar a bit on how you start your day with energy. And it strengthens your immune system. That is the top of the list for today. Really strengthens the immune system. It's also, and this is important in 2023, it is extremely powerful against viruses. So the more red, purple, dark things you eat, the less likely you are to contract a virus, and the less of a case you will have if you do, and the shorter period of time you'll have it, all of which is a good thing. So if we're fortunate enough not to have been ill with the virus, and we've all had them in our lives, I mean, viruses are part of our lives, but we've been really aware of it the last 3 or 4 years because of COVID for obvious reasons. And there are so many things that we have to think about. But resveratrol will protect you against viruses. So think every day, what did I eat today that was dark red? Had resveratrol. I'll tell you something else. That's where, done here. Okay. Red peppers. They're wonderful for so many things. There's a little bowl of tomatoes. Red. Now, which has more, this is a quiz, which has more anthocyanin? Baby tomatoes or the big ones? Who said baby? Raise your hand who said baby. Yes, you're right.
More skin.
More skin, exactly. Because it's in the skin. And they have a little body and a lot of skin. So the little ones have more acid. Now, they're both good for you. They're all good for you. And also, tomato sauce is good for you, all of the above. But if you're looking for the double benefit, the baby ones actually give you more for your money. You get resveratrol, you got anthocyanins, and look at you. You actually know what both of those mean. Now, quercetin, next word down the list. Quercetin is in the Immune System Hall of Fame. If they had an Oscar award for the immune system, quercetin would win first prize because it is better than anything else. It's in a lot of foods, but it's also in supplements, and people get it in hospitals. But here's what it does. Fights bacteria, fights allergens. If you have hay fever, spring fever, summer allergies, pollen, and goodness knows this year's been a year for that, it fights those toxins. And it is a powerful warrior against viruses. Quercetin. It slows something, which is your next word, called apoptosis. Actually, it sounds like a snack food at the movies, doesn't it? I'd like a large apoptosis, please. But apoptosis is actually a wonderful word that means this. When cells die, they're supposed to leave. What if every hair that had ever died on your head stayed? Your head would look like a broom. It would be horrible. I mean, things leave as they flake off, they leave, they die, they leave, and new ones are formed, hopefully even healthier than the last ones. But quercetin is something that is extremely helpful for shoving out dead cells. Now, it's annoying if you have a head that looks like a broom, but worse than that is if you have a heart with sludge in it, you have a colon with dead sludge in it, you have a gallbladder or a liver with dead sludge in it, you have a bloodstream with sludge in it, it causes disease. And not only infections and illnesses and IBS and so on, but it also increases the risk of Alzheimer's. Sludge in the brain, we've all read about the sludge that stays behind in a brain of a person who has dementia or Alzheimer's. Quercetin is like sweeping stuff out. It's not a magic bullet, it's not the magic answer, but it's hugely effective. It can lower the amount of sludge in the brain cells by as much as 50%. That's huge. And all of us should be thinking. Yes, it does. It does help with diabetes, Marcy, thank you. It helps with diabetes, also blood pressure and blood sugar, metabolics. It really is kind of like large and in charge, and it has so many jobs. But remember the word apoptosis. It's like pops out the dead cells. If they don't leave, there's no room for new healthy ones. So you have quercetin, and it pops out the dead cells. But here's the thing about quercetin. It doesn't do well, really as well as a pill. It doesn't do as well like as a shot. It does the best through the gut, which is how we absorb everything anyway. It's through our gut, right? This microbiome from the mouth to the hoo-ha. So everything in between is your digestive system. That whole thing, this whole plumbing fixture, all of it. So the way that quercetin is absorbed best is through the gut and when you digest foods and so on. So it's wonderful to have foods that are full of quercetin. I want to walk you through some of those because there are lots of them. First of all, this apple I showed you that has resveratrol and what else? Anthocyanin. And now you know it has quercetin. An apple a day, I don't want to keep the doctor away. I would like to get into his office sooner, actually, but an apple is a healthy thing to do. The onions have quercetin. The tomatoes have quercetin. Peppers are rich in quercetin. Citrus has a lot of quercetin. These are Cara oranges. Have you had them? They're navel oranges, and they're so good. They're really juicy and wonderful. But oranges have a lot of benefits, and they're kind of such a plain old food we've all seen forever. We don't get very excited about them. But they're actually rich in quercetin, and they have an awful lot of benefits for you. So the quercetin in there and the other benefits as well, of course, vitamin C and so on. By the way, if you have your barbecue grill on, cut one of those in half, turn it upside down, and grill it. You can do that with pineapple. You can do it with oranges. You can do it with your apples. Any fruit or vegetable, just throw it on there and give it a try. So berries, dark red things, all of those, garlic, they're all full of quercetin, and it's really a benefit to you. Apoptosis, getting rid of dead cells. Think of it like the garbage pickup truck for junk your body can't use anymore. It's like they're not green anymore. We have a new garbage system in Bloomfield. I don't know what it's called yet, but the new ones that come, they take the garbage and they get rid of it. That's what apoptosis does, cleans it out. It also reduces the risk of cancer because cells that stay behind that are latently infected or latently active need to be taken out. It reduces the risk of Parkinson's disease. Dead cells remaining behind, nerves and muscles. Reduces the risk of Huntington's chorea, another very serious kind of disease. Alzheimer's, as I mentioned, IBS. It's the star. Quercetin is the star of the garbage truck delivery system. It gets the Oscar for getting the junk out. And that's important for all of us. And by the way, here's another one that has quercetin. This little guy, red cabbage. Cabbage has a lot of benefits. What organ loves your cabbage the most? Or vice versa. What organ does your cabbage love the most? Do you know? It's your kidneys. The kidneys love red cabbage, and red cabbage loves your kidneys. Green cabbage likes your kidneys, and they get along, but red cabbage loves them. It really does. So you've got resveratrol and anthocyanins, you've got the red stuff, and you've got quercetin, and you've got good fiber, and you've got some vitamins, but you've also got benefits here directly to the kidneys. Now, as we age, some of us, men age, women, what do? We mature. Yeah. Yes, we ripen and mature, yes, but the men are aging. But as this goes on, it's really important to know that in your system, the kidneys have had a long road. They've worked hard for a long time. Many of us will hear in our lives, your GFR is a little low. That's glomerular filtration rate, which no one cares about, I know. But it means how well your kidney's working. GFR. If someone says, well, your GFR is a little low, your kidney function is a little low, not to worry, we'll keep an eye on it. Start eating red cabbage. Some of you in this room, I know, have heard it. GFR, red cabbage will raise GFR because it helps your kidneys not to work so hard to get all the jobs done. So it's a great food for that. How many of you have snacked on or buy those cute little miniature carrots in a bag? You know, raise your hand if you buy those. Well, stop it.
No, I don't like them.
They're not good. They're fake carrots. Yeah. They take the stumpy part that is not fit to grow into this set. I mean, these are organic, real carrots. This is real. They're not perfect, but neither are we, okay? The little ones are all put in a thing kind of like a lathe, and they spin them until they all look like cute little baby carrots, and they shove them in the bag and sell them just good. Oh, what a good snack. Now, where is the greatest benefit of a food? On the outside. Guess what they take off? Hello. Have you ever noticed if you have them for a few days, you get a whitish look to them? That's because they soak them in a chlorine mixture. Because after they spin them, the moisture can cause them to rot. So they put them in chlorine to protect them. Ew. Now, they could have been grown organic, but after you mess with them, I mean, I could pick up an organic meal and throw junk on it, and I goofed it up, right? So you want real carrots. Please don't buy the little baby ones. Just stop. And all the groceries will go, wow, those are not moving anymore. We better stop having those. So, the carrots are wonderful for you. They're good for you in so many ways. They have the orange thing going on, but they also, was it true or false what your mother told you about You know, carrots are good for your eyes. How many say yes? How many say no? Oh, Karen, I love you dearly, but you failed. Yeah, here. Take these home. Just take these home. Hush, they're organic. That'd be good for you. Carrots have beta carotene. Now, true or false? Carrots are full of vitamin A. True. You're all afraid now, aren't you? Because I made fun of Karen. Okay. True or false? Carrots are full of vitamin A.
Yes. True.
False. There is no such thing as vitamin A in any food, period. When someone says, oh, well, this is high in vitamin A, I can tell by the color, or the carrots are high in vitamin A. There is no such thing as vitamin A in food, period. What?
Your body has to make it, right?
Exactly, Marcy, your body has to make it. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's one organ in your body that does quite a few things. One of them is turn beta carotene into vitamin A. And we know vitamin A is a healer, like A&D ointment, right? And vitamin A is a healer. It's an antioxidant. That's that human swing set Rust-Oleum, okay? So we've got the beta carotene thing going on, but how do we get vitamin A? It converts through your pancreas into vitamin A. So who is the one kind of person who needs synthetic vitamin A? Beta carotene won't help them to heal. Think about it. If the pancreas is not working, diabetic. A type 1 diabetic, their pancreas is not working. They can't convert beta carotene into vitamin A. So they can eat carrots until the cows come home and they're not going to get vitamin A out of it. What is one of the greatest problems with diabetes? Not healing. Things don't heal well. Wounds, damage, skin damage, wounds that won't heal. Over time, people lose limbs because of it. Why won't that person heal? Why? Diabetic retinopathy. Vitamin A is not available unless they're taking it. That's the one time in my office, I think, ever, I suggest a synthetic man-made vitamin to human beings. Everything else, I go natural. That one, to a type 1 diabetic, is important. But if your pancreas is working, then it can convert all these lovely colors into the vitamin A that you really do need. And by the way, yes, have you ever seen a rabbit wearing glasses? No, so it really is true. Now, cruciferous. Now, Ken, you're a pastor. Where does the word cruciferous come from? If you don't get this right, so help me, Deanna's going home with me.
Crucifixion?
The cross, crucifixion. Now, why would certain vegetables have that name? Because if you turn them over and look at the bottom, they have on the bottom this shape. So look at cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, all those things. Turn them over, slice them off, and look, and you'll see that the flower in the bottom forms a cross. And it was believed in older times that people who ate a lot of those seemed to be healthier, so maybe they were protected by those vegetables. Well, they are, and it's Mother Nature doing the work, but they are absolutely protective. And that's where that word comes from. So cruciferous, you can also think of them as the gassy vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Some people can clear a large room with those vegetables. Others, they're fine, but they form gases. They do that. Not a problem if your body absorbs the gases, which most people's do. But the cruciferous vegetables are absolutely wonderful for you, and they're really healthy, and they help with a lot of things. But most people... Sorry?
Sauerkraut feel good for us.
Oh, yes, sauerkraut is good for you, yes. Fermented things are good for you. Only the salt's high, but the rest is good. So one of those things I named is broccoli. Now, how many of you would consider it reasonable if I suggested you eat 14 heads of broccoli a day? I mean, that's just ridiculous. I like broccoli, but not that much. Now, there is another way, Marcy. I brought these today, and I brought those little tongs, so you can all grab a wad of these. And they're probably not a way to present a food product, a wad, but you know, a taste of them. These are broccoli sprouts. Broccoli sprouts are insanely good for you. They contain everything the broccoli has, minus the 14 head bulk, So if you eat a little wad of these, how many do you have to eat to equal 14 heads of broccoli? 1 ounce. I know, it's so easy. 1 ounce of broccoli sprouts has the same nutrient value as 14 heads of broccoli. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a lot more likely to eat these. And they're delicious. They're absolutely delicious. These are organic broccoli sprouts. I bought these at Kroger. They're also at every other market now, but find them and grab them and try them. Put them on a sandwich, put them on a salad. I just pick them up and eat a wad of them. I mean, a serving of them. I pick them up and eat a serving of them myself because they're so delicious. They're very crunchy. They don't last forever, but I brought 2 of these today and I have little tongs. So before you leave today, there are things to try. The sambuca syrup down there to try, and I've got the tomatoes, and I've got some goodies here, so that's why they're here. I want you to try these. Okay, so they're there. Now, other things that have the same value. An unfortunate name for a vegetable, squash. Really? I don't know why it was named that, but no wonder children say, I don't like a squash. If it was called glitter veg. Glitter veg. Let's have glitter veg for dinner. Yay. It's like, okay, Mom, I'll try it. I mean, squash. It just doesn't sound attractive. But it's a beautiful, beautiful vegetable. Do you know when you buy a can of pumpkin at Thanksgiving to make pie? And yes, I buy a can of pumpkin. I am not scraping out a whole pumpkin. Besides, it never tastes as good. So when you can buy a can of pumpkin, do you know what it really is? Squash. It almost never has it. Once in a while you can find pumpkin, but usually it's squash. Doesn't matter. They're first cousins. They get along great, and they're both the same value. And they're inside, they're bright orange, but think of the inside seeds. They have everything the pumpkin is going to have or the squash is going to have, plus some protein because it's a seed. Plus, they taste really good if you roast them. And I brought something that I've discovered in the last year. I think it's delicious. A lot of people use protein powder. This is a 1-ingredient protein powder. And Stacy, you've tried it. How do you like it?
I love it.
I'm so glad. Jackson, have you tried this? And? Are you being honest or are you being nice?
No.
That's cute. I like it. Okay. So, pumpkin seed protein powder. That's all that's in it. It's organic pumpkin. 1 ingredient, organic pumpkin seed. That's it. You mix it with anything you want. Mix it with a liquid, put it in something. If you're having a vegetarian meal, throw a tablespoon in, and you have something wonderful and delicious. And if you have people with sensitivities or allergies, 1 ingredient. It's made by Omega Nutrition. I've ordered mine online every time. I've not seen it in stores, although I'm sure it shows up. Omega Nutrition is the name of the company. It's excellent. How many of you enjoy sweet potatoes? Question, if you were diabetic, you had to watch your sugars. Which one affects your blood sugar levels more, white potatoes or sweet potatoes?
White potatoes.
Correct, white potatoes. You're better off with a sweet potato. And what part is the best for you? Yes, so instead of scraping the bejeebers out of it, just scrub it, scrub it, scrub it, cut the ends off. Now, what I like to do is bake the whole sweet potato and then cut it into strips about, what's that, an inch, maybe a little less. Toss it with a little olive oil or avocado oil and put them on a cookie sheet or parchment paper in a hot oven, and those little discs pop out and they get golden brown on the outside and they're still creamy, yummy on the inside. And then, of course, when you take them out, it's like a cheesecake. It will deflate, but that's okay. You take them out and you nibble on them, and they're a snack or a side dish or myth. They're delicious. So if you've not done this in a while and you think, oh, it's holiday time, yeah, no. And by the way, we don't have yams in the United States. All of the stuff we eat is sweet potatoes, and they're good for you. They're full of beta-carotene. They are full of quercetin. They're full of resveratrol. They're full of nutrients, a lot of vitamin A, a lot of vitamin C. It's going to be a good idea for you. So then there's the family of green stuff. Don't want to forget the green stuff. I know, how many people are sick of hearing about kale? Me too. I like it, but I don't want to hear any more about it. So I brought mustard greens. These are aren't they pretty? And they're really easy to fix them. You just slice them like this, throw them in a little oil. And by the way, I quite often use avocado oil because you can get it really, really hot and it won't smoke. So you get a cast iron skillet and put it in avocado oil and turn it up and get it really, really hot, and it will not smoke.
And it doesn't have
That's right. It's almost flavor-free. So I think you'd really enjoy avocado oil if you don't have it. These are mustard greens, organic ones. Now, when you cook these, or eat them raw, and I don't eat mustard greens raw, they're just a bit much, but cooked, they're going to give you not only all of the basic nutrients, vitamins, beta-carotene is in here even though it's green, vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, selenium, all kinds of things. They also give you great fiber, and they have an enormous amount of mineral content because they grow on the ground. One of my favorite teachers is named David Winston. David is a Cherokee Indian. His choice of terminology, he said, don't call me a Cherokee Native American person. Okay, he's Cherokee Indian. And David makes me sound really quiet. His voice booms through the back of the wall. But he says wonderful things. He's taught me a lot. And Faye, you've heard me mention, I think, David Winston. He's one of my teachers from 25 years ago, I think. And I just love what he created the Bastyr University, which is the very first nationally recognized college of herbal studies in the country. He's brilliant, just brilliant, David Winston. But he said, first of all, about dandelions, he said, they're the universe. You start with the sun, it becomes the moon, and then whew, you have the stars. Dandelions. I mean, he says wonderful, wonderful things. But he also said, you know, in terms of when you're dealing with greens and so on, pick ones that you like and then put them with other things you like onions and peppers and lovely things. Mix it up, put garlic with it. Anything's better with garlic. Well, maybe not lemon meringue pie, but most things are better with garlic. Put them all together, and you really want to mix it up. One of the things those are good for is UTIs. How many of you know that cranberries have been talked about in terms of urinary tract infection is a good idea? Yeah, a lot of hands. Is it true or not? Yes or no? It is. But it's not because people say, oh, it's got a lot of vitamin C, take more vitamin C. No, that's not it. You can get that from a lot of places. Cranberries have a little ingredient that's like Teflon, and it won't allow the junk that causes infections to stick, and it keeps moving it out. It coats the urinary tract with this Teflon, and things slide on out that stay behind and cause infection. So if you're using cranberries, it makes sense, maybe not for the reason that you had thought, but it makes a lot of sense to use them. One of the things about sweet potatoes, by the way, I wanted to mention, sweet potatoes have a great value in fighting something called H. pylori. Anybody know what that is? Yes. It causes stomach ulcers, yes. And it causes 90% of all stomach ulcers. People used to say, oh, you know, don't eat spicy food, do this, do that. 90% of all stomach ulcers, which can be miserable for people, are caused by H. pylori bacterium. Now, what knocks it out besides a truckload of antibiotics and a lot of treatment? And the answer is one of the foods that's powerful against H. pylori, sweet potatoes. H. pylori doesn't have much luck in countries where they live on sweet potatoes and yams. They have very few cases. 10% of the cases we have in the United States. Interesting, huh? So is it a magic answer? No, but it's a really interesting answer. So one of my favorite green things, besides Kermit, okay, I love avocado. I used to hate it. I thought it was like green Crisco. And I just, Carl, do you like avocado? Not yet. We're gonna work on you. We're gonna help him. There's help for you.
Tell him that's all there is.
We can do that. Yeah. Oh, that's all there is. You'll eat it, right? Okay. Avocado absolutely blows things out of the water. It can be used for so many things. My favorite thing about avocado is, and men, if you don't want to hear about lady parts, just do this la 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 la. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. If an avocado were sitting, what does it look like? The uterus. Yeah. Now, a lot of things look like what they do. Like a walnut looks like a brain. Okay, beets have stuff that looks like blood. They do, but an avocado is a woman's best fruit. It's a fruit actually because it has a pit. So you cut it open and you open it up, and there's a little inside. It's like the little baby thing is there. You know, it's like nested in there. Okay, got that going on. Avocados have exactly the right amount of folic acid for women every day. Half an avocado. For a pregnant woman, the whole avocado, this size, the small ones, perfect amount of folic acid, which is the one thing when you're pregnant, they always say, get enough folic acid, gotta have folic acid. It prevents spina bifida and birth defects. It's important. And here's the best part. I love this part. From the time it flowers till it's ripe, exactly 9 months. I know! Isn't that the best? 9 months. I mean, it's so interesting. Mother Nature and God together do great stuff. You know, and we've got this free pharmacy out there. Now, here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. Besides, Carl, you need to learn to like it. We're going to work on you. I'll be over with a little doggy bag, and you can try it. Okay, it'll work. Are you excited? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so avocado, I don't care what they tell me. They say, oh, rub it with oil, or sprinkle it with lemon juice, or put it in water. I don't care what I do, they always go bad. If I only use part of it, I look 2 days later, it's like black or poopy, and I don't want to eat it. So there is a solution, outside of eating the whole thing at once. It's this avocado in a tube. It's so excellent. It lasts for not weeks, but months. I tested one last summer for what, honey, was it 3 months? I think I said about 3 months. And the end of it was as fresh as the beginning. It's sealed, locked in. So you have your avocado in this little bag, and you squeeze it out when you want. You're going to have avocado toast, which is one of my favorites, grainy toast, and then avocado on top. And then on top of that, a perfectly cooked, as I call it for Alec, the perfect egg. It's a perfect easy over egg on top. It's all good. I mean, that's a great breakfast or a great treat. Avocado in the bag. I bought this again at Kroger. You can find them at Plum Market, but you'll pay $9 more. You can find it at Nino Savaggio. You find it, it's all over the place. There are several brands. They come spicy and regulars to make sure you know what you're getting, but this is a great find. And avocado is a wonderful thing for you for so many reasons, but also it is one of the best substitutes for things in the world. Yes?
Hey, I was wondering, by this list, where would we be with what you're talking about? We're obviously past cruciferous, which would be organics. And
You're right with me. I just haven't hit that yet, but you haven't missed a thing. I'm just blabbering in between. We're good.
Oh, okay.
You are exactly where you're supposed to be.
All right.
I'm just filling in a big old blank there. Yeah, a lot of stuff between them. So when we're talking about avocado, you can mix it in tuna fish instead of mayonnaise. You can mix it in a sandwich. You can make salad dressing with it. A 1/4 cup of avocado equals an egg in baking. Okay? You can use it as sauces. If you use it instead of oil, 1 large avocado replaces a cup of oil. If you have trouble getting turkey burgers to stay moist because they always dry out, mix in a big blob of avocado out of that tube. Mix it in, they'll be moist. And they'll taste delicious. It adds a little natural fat. You can substitute it for mayonnaise. I mean, it has so many benefits, it's outrageous. So speaking of on the grill, get a meat thermometer. If you don't have one, get one. You just need it. If you're going to grill, if you're going to cook in the oven, whatever. I got this one recently. Actually, I got 2, and I'm not sure why, but it was 2 for the price of 1. So order now. Wait, there's more. And it's great. It's digital, and you just push the little button, stick it in, whatever. It's only for food, not for humans. This would be very painful. So you use this little thermometer. It's great. And you just push the button, and it lights up. So if you're out barbecuing at night, you can see it. It's great. But here's the deal. It's hard to tell when food is done. And it has little critters in it. We're trying to get bacteria, salmonella, E. coli, whatever it is. All of them die at 165, period. Now, if you like a rare something, if you like it, I hear you, I get it, I know. But the safe number is 165, period, for everything. Now, here's a question. If you're cooking chicken and you pierce it and the liquid runs a little bit pink, what does that mean? Wrong. I love it when you get stuff wrong because I know the answer.
Well, you have to use the meat thermometer.
You have to use a meat thermometer because that pink stuff will run even if you get it up to 200 degrees. It's from the bone marrow, and it will keep coming as long as you keep poking. So you can end up with a very tough turkey or a very tough this and that. The pinkness in the bone doesn't tell you anything. Now, if you have totally raw meat, that's different. But if you're testing and think the chicken thighs should be done by now, and they're not, it's just that pink. Test with this. 165 is the safe number with everything. Some things they recommend more, some less, and I will tell you just memorize 165 and you'll always hit it right.
Miss Day,
Yes, ma'am.
what about the little thermometers that come in the turkeys?
They are absolutely adorable and worthless.
Okay. that's
Yes,
what I-
they often pop up too soon and you take out a raw turkey, or sometimes they're in there too long and your turkey is like balsa wood. Yeah, no, they're worthless, but they're cute. They have a little thing in there. Okay, so something I brought along that I wanted to share with you. How many of you either are someone or know someone who's been told, do not take aspirin, do not take Advil, do not take ibuprofen. If you need something, just take Tylenol, only take Tylenol. Quite a few of us, huh? Me too. Yeah, there are a lot of us. Now, here's the deal. The reason you don't take aspirin or Advil or ibuprofen is it can cause stomach bleeding and bleeding. Got it. But the reason you can be concerned about Tylenol is if it's overdone, it can damage the liver. Someone can have liver damage, which can be really serious. So like, well, shoot me, which one do I pick? Here's the answer. There's one little nutrient, not really nutrient, it's a little chemical within the Tylenol that can't be swept out by all the ordinary action in the body. It stays behind in the liver. The liver doesn't have the ability to flush it out. And in a day or a week, it doesn't do anything. But over a period of time, it builds up. And if it gets to a certain level, it can cause liver failure. And that's really serious. So it's like, well, what do you want me to do, Kay? I have an answer. I love this. There is an amino acid, meaning a protein part, a natural product, called NAC. I brought a couple of these. You can look at them on the table after. I should have put that one on your paper for you. You're right. That one should have gone in there. NAC. It stands for N-acetylcysteine, like the Sistine Chapel, only it's not the chapel, it's the pill. N-acetylcysteine. And I'll leave this on the table so you can see it after. Now, here's what you do. If you're taking a Tylenol once in a while when you have a headache or you have arthritis once in a while, no worries. But if you're taking a couple every day, or 2 in the morning, 1 at bedtime, or 1 in the morning, 2 at bedtime, or taking them on an ongoing basis, you had dental surgery, or you had a surgery, and you have to take 2 every this many hours for a few days, get the NAC. Here's what it does. It works like a magnet to suck out the one thing that can hurt your liver, and it will take it out of your body. Problem over. Now, why are we not told this? I'm really not sure, except that nutritional chemistry is not always a big part of medical practice or pharmaceuticals. So it'll come along, and you may see it now, and you may hear about it, but it is absolutely brilliant in its ability to take out the chemical that can cause liver damage. So keep it around. With protein, we talked about making sure it has 165 degrees, making sure, of course, it rebuilds cells, it's healthy for you. Fish is great. Fish is so good for you for so many reasons, but there is a trick I want you to know about. Honestly, I don't live at Kroger, but this is another Kroger thing. Kroger's has a deal that I call fish in a bag. They call it easy for you fish product. Okay, here's what it is. It's a bag that looks like this. See, it's see-through on the front. They will put your fish, if you buy it at the fish counter, they'll put your fish in the bag. They'll put seasonings on it of your choice. They'll put fresh herbs on it of your choice. If you wish, slices of lemon, pats of butter. It's all your choice. They'll go through the whole list of things. Anything you want on there, then they'll seal it. They'll put a sticker on it that tells you how long to cook it at what temperature. And you go out the door. It doesn't smell like fish. You go out the door, you take it home, put it in the fridge, cook it, throw this away, you're done. Now, that's a really nice service. I think their price is more than reasonable. What do you think would be a fair price?
Per pound?
Per bag. Any guesses? Yeah, that'd be for a dinner. This would be enough for a couple of pounds you could put in here. Any guesses? It is free.
How much?
Free. It's free. And no one knows they do it. And I don't blame them for not telling us, but they do it. So when you're at Kroger next time, look behind the seafood counter and you'll see a big sign up there and go, oh, that's the thing Kay was talking about. We will do this, this, this. It's free, but no one knows. It's a secret. In the bag, fish in the bag, or easy for you fish. It's a great, great thing. Also, canned salmon. Almost always wild caught, almost always the purest and the best fish of all. This is wild caught salmon, and it's really a good product. Canned stuff always looks like it's in a can. In this case, it's a good thing. Canned salmon is almost always wild caught, almost always Alaskan, or it's the kind that you want in the first place. And most of the cans are BPA free, meaning no chemicals inside the can, and they're a good, good product, and they're easy to find. Why do you eat fish often? What's that one thing in there you're trying to get? Omegas. Omega-3s, you've heard of that? The omegas, the healing oils. There is another way to get them if you don't want to eat fish every day, and so on. You can take pills, which is fine. Chia seed. Now, it used to be the only way we saw chia was at Rite Aid 2 days before Christmas when you're desperate for a present. And they have like some kind of a creature, the chia pets, and you wet the seeds, put it on, it grows parsley all over it, which is chia. But these are amazing little products. Here's the deal. Chia seeds, 1 tablespoon, has the same amount of omega-3 as an entire serving of fresh fish. I find that completely amazing, and I can't process it in my little brain, but it's true. So if you're going to add a tablespoon of chia to oatmeal or to soup or to stir fry or bake with it, whatever you want, make pudding out of it, make jam out of it with fresh fruit, chia seed, 1 tablespoon a day is equal to a whole serving of fresh fish, which is an amazing thing. So I brought a lot of things to share with you today and along here, and I have some of the teas you're having. There's one more thing I want to share that's a product. I do not own stock in this either. I am such a believer in this. It's called Nozin. Nozin. I think I did get that on your paper. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Nozin. You order it online. It's not in the drugstore. You cannot get it in stores. You order it online. Jackson and Stacy, nobody noticed you're leaving. Bye, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
meeting
You also. Bye, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody say bye, Jackson. Bye, Stacy.
Everyone. It was wonderful
Okay.
to be with you, and thank you so much.
Love you. I told her she could just sneak out and nobody would notice. Yay. She's a very shy person, so that was fun. Okay, Nozin. Here's the deal. This blocks bacteria, not kills virus. That's a misconception, but here's what it does. It prevents viruses from colonizing, meaning increasing. So let's say, and I'm totally making up numbers, let's say you have 100 little particles of pre-COVID stuff in your nose. Well, in 2 hours you got 1,000, and then you got 1,000,000, and then blah, blah, blah. The way you get sick is when you have millions. You don't get sick from 100. You get sick from millions. This doesn't prevent all viruses, but it prevents them from colonizing. And if you have the virus in your nose, which is a very common way that we pick it up, it won't let them make babies. So you can stop the colonization. It's $24 for this little bottle. You think, wow. But Al and I both use it every time we leave the house or we have someone in the house. Like yesterday, Sun Heating and Cooling came to check our air conditioner. We put it in our noses. You use a Q-tip, a couple of drops, you rub it on the outside of your nostrils and maybe 1/8 of an inch inside. It's not like it at the beginning of COVID when you had to stick the thing up to your brain. It's not like that. It's like just a little wetness inside your nostrils, which they amusingly in the instructions call your nasal vestibules. So now we have another term. Put it in your nasal vestibules. But when you do that, here's what it does. It blocks the infection. Now, this has been used for almost 30 years in almost every hospital in this country. It's used by almost every airline for pilots and flight attendants. In the last 3 years, it's been available to the public, but only by ordering online. $24, no shipping. It'll last you for months and months. It's a great investment. So Nozin, N-O-Z-I-N, that's the reason I put it down on your paper. I also put down a YouTube. I was told, excuse me, Diane, earlier this week, before you say K on YouTube, like you want to see more of me, but I was told earlier this week that I'm almost to 1,000 views on a video I did for the church on COVID and about staying well. So if you get in there and read that would be our new record here at the church for something we did. Would it be 1,000? So that would be exciting, but that's mine. Then the office number is my office number, and at the very bottom, I want you all to know about a service called Nurse on Call. In Oakland County, at the Health Commission, Nurse on Call is available Monday through Friday, not weekends. They will answer tons of questions. They'll help you get an appointment where you need it. They'll help you with a referral. They'll help to answer simple questions and some more complex about medication or about interaction or when to take something or the pharmacy's closed and I don't know what to do. They're amazing and they're registered nurses and they're really good. You have a free option there, Nurse on Call. So it's good to have that number stuck up in your cupboard somewhere. So, last thing, and I know if any of you would enjoy staying around and you have questions or whatever, I'll be here. I would love to talk with you. I'm just so tickled you're all here. I'm very, very touched, you know. Did I just do a bad thing? Does that make a noise every time? Yeah. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay. One of my favorite books, and I love books. I mean, Pentimento was not my favorite book, okay? God bless Lillian Hellman and her 3 autobiographies, but this is one of my favorites. It's called The Delaney Sisters Book of Everyday Wisdom. It was written by Elizabeth and Sadie when they were 103 and 105. They wrote this book. And when I read it, I think, and first of all, it's like Diane making me feel tall. It makes me feel young, okay? And they're brilliant. They have such amazing ideas, you know. And I want to share one of those with you at the end, but I would say first, Teddy Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have where you are now. You are going to walk out of here today with at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 ideas for something you can do. Or in Charlotte's case, a whole page of ideas. Once a teacher, always a teacher. So you'll have a whole page of ideas. Please grab one of those like a little nugget, like a seed. Plant it in your family, in your home, in your apartment. Plant it and use it. One thing you can do that's going to make a change for the better that you learned here today. Maybe it's grabbing a bag at Kroger's. Maybe it's buying something you haven't had in a while. Maybe it's getting a sambuca in your house. Whatever it is, do what you can with what you have where you are now. We all can change things. It's kind of like you're in a car and you turn the wheel a 1/4 inch. Don't notice anything for a while. But after a couple of miles, you're going a different direction. It's true with little changes in your life. You know, yeah, in the ditch, that's right. In this case, we're going to get you out of the ditch. And the whole idea is make small changes to make big differences. It really does make a difference. That's one of the joys I have in my practice is I see people now for, like Stacy and her son were just here. I met her mother first, then Stacy, then Jackson. 3rd generation, and they still love me, and I love them. Yeah. And honestly, the last thing I want to mention here on your papers, organic. Is it worthwhile buying organic? Yes. It is for many things, yes. Organic means no pesticides, no antibiotics, no hormones, no junk. But here's the kicker for me. Anyone still eating? Okay. Human waste is not used to fertilize it. You're thinking, what? Yes, it is legal. Yes, it's done all the time. In the processing plants, they sell it by the big train car load. And it goes out and sprays on the fields. And the comment I get sometimes from people who do it is, what's the difference in cow manure and horse manure and human manure? Oh, please, go to a farm and watch a horse for a while. Then go to Walmart and watch the people coming out of the door. I'm taking the horse. So there is a big difference. I mean, and horses do not do drugs, and they don't take a lot of medications and pills and stuff. And yeah, there's just such a difference. So that was the, you know, kind of the seal of the deal for me. Organic foods have all those advantages. Do they have more vitamins and minerals? Usually not. It's not what they have extra, it's what they don't have. So organic is worth it if you can afford it for some things. For others, there's so little contamination and they don't use that kind of fertilizer, it's probably not worth your money. And there are 2 lists to look up online. They change every few months. So keep looking. The first one is the Dirty Dozen. Those are the 12 foods that is always worth. This is going to be on the list. Greens, this is going to be on the list. Apples, strawberries are always right up there at the top. They're always there. Interestingly, a million years ago, kale was considered pure and clean. Now it's on the list because so many farmers are selling so much, they're making it grow faster. They're doing all kinds of stuff to it. So Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 are things that do not have enough to worry about. It's so minuscule. If you have enough money to buy everything organic, God bless you, but most people don't. So pick the things that are top of that. Strawberries, fresh greens, apples, buy them organic, okay? And this would be an example of something that is at the top of the don't bother to buy organic list. These are pure and clean. You almost never find residue and pesticides. On the avocado, Mars. The avocado, yeah. The avocado is on the Clean 15 list. So make a little copy of that, carry it in your purse or your pocket when you go to the grocery store. Buy organic if you can afford it on the Dirty Dozen list. On the Clean 15, you can save your money. And it's good to know that one way or the other. So all of those things are good to know. And you know, none of us can do everything. We can't do everything all the time, including me. And I don't claim to. But one of the things you can learn is if you're looking at fruit, sometimes the apples get all mixed up. You're not sure what's what. Is that a Gala or a Fuji or a, they're all mixed. Look on that little label. There's something called a PLU. Believe it or not, it stands for price lookup. The price lookup will have numbers. If the number is 5 digits long and starts with a 9, it's organic. 9, don't. If it's 4 digits long, it's not. It's that simple. So it's 5 digits long, starts with a 9, it is always organic. And if you look at that and you have an idea that you'd like that thing to be organic, make sure the one you pick up was in the right place. Pentimento. You know, Marcy, when you were saying yesterday, I thought about, well, yesterday we learned, and it's on the back of the canvas. Tomorrow's not here yet. We can plan for it. Today we can do. All 3. So putting it into today makes a lot of sense. Pentimento means pick up the colors. Look at these colors. I mean, they're a natural palette for painting. And as Diane taught me, anybody can paint. Well, anybody can buy these vegetables as well. The book that I shared the title of with you is so wonderful if you can find it. They have now passed away. But in the very beginning of this book, and there are so many wonderful quotes in it, I would be tempted to read the whole book, but I won't. Okay. But in it, Sadie is talking. Sadie's a little feisty. She's really interesting. She says, so you want to live to be 100? We'll start with this. No smoking, no drinking, well, maybe a little drinking. No chewing anything bad. Always clean your plate if it's good stuff. And again, you can drink a little bit, but not too much. Get up with the sun. First thing we do is exercise. Get out and get moving. If you got it, move it. God gave you one body. You better be nice to it or it won't last. Exercise, because if you don't, by the time you're our age, you'll be pushing up daisies instead of weights. Most folks think getting older means giving up and not trying anything new. Well, we don't agree with that. As long as you can see each day as a chance for something new to happen, something you never experienced before, you will stay young. Why? We don't feel like we're 105 and 103. We feel half that old. Even after a century of living and living good, we still haven't tried everything. We've only just got started.
What's the exact title of the book?
It's called The Book of Everyday Wisdom by the Delaney's. It's a lovely, lovely book. I would say to you, we're just getting started. We learn so much. One of the things I love about my work is that this field is constantly changing, which is why it drives everybody nuts, because what you hear last week is going to change this week. But that's because we're constantly learning and exploring. It's like the vegetables, they're different every time we learn. What I do know is that whatever you put on your canvas today is what you're going to be able to look at tomorrow. And I so appreciate being here. God bless everybody, and have a wonderful week.
You fulfilled our need for nutritious information here.
Good,
Thanks.
good,
And if
good.
I may share a quote, look
Yeah.
to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. Today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope.
Oh, I love that. Yay.